So Marjorie Taylor Greene has been losing a bunch of friends. You guys know what's been happening with this Republican Civil War. First, it was Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert. They took out Kevin McCarthy, them and maybe like six to eight Republican congresspeople. And that was a huge deal, and it was a huge rift inside the Republican Party. Well, now they kind of settled on Mike Johnson. Hey, we all kind of like him. He's got a foot in an establishment camp and the MAGA camp. So, what are we going to do? We'll go with Mike Johnson. He's the fallback. Well, now Marjorie Taylor Greene is playing the role that Matt Gaetz played against Kevin McCarthy. And she's like, I'm going to oust this motherfucker. She had Thomas Massie and Paul Gosar on her side for it. And she was ready to pull the trigger. However, now her own caucus is fucking turning on her ruthlessly. In fact, they interviewed on CNN a bunch of these Republican congresspeople and asked them what they think about it. Watch this.
I really don't give a rat's ass what anybody up here says about what I'm doing.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is finally ready to make good on her threat to force a vote ousting Speaker Mike Johnson.
I voted for Mike Johnson because his voting record before he became Speaker was conservative. But once he became Speaker, he has become a man that none of us recognize.
But there's a problem. She doesn't have the votes.
Bless her heart. I think this is all about wanting more attention and not producing actual results.
98% of us find it disgusting. We're tired of the chaos. We're tired of the anarchy.
It's the wrong move at the wrong time by the wrong people.
This is a distraction, and I think it's a mistake.
With a one-vote margin, Johnson lacks the votes to stay in power with GOP support alone. But Democrats plan to save him in next week's vote.
This is unprecedented that somebody's foe in leadership, the leadership of the Democrat Party, would offer to save the leader of the Republican Party.
Top Democrats praised Johnson for cutting a series of bipartisan deals, including advancing $61 billion in aid to Ukraine, even though it enraged the right wing.
It's time to end this chapter of pro-Putin obstruction.
It's a shift from almost 7 months ago, when Democrats voted with 8 Republicans to make Kevin McCarthy the first ever speaker ousted on the floor.
Kevin McCarthy, you guys voted him out. Why not? What's different now?
I think what we saw with former Speaker McCarthy was he wanted to blame Democrats the entire time. I disagree with Speaker Johnson in a number of ways, but he lived up to his commitments to put this bill on the floor.
But liberal Democrats are objecting.
I certainly will not be voting to support Mike Johnson.
We can't continue to do this every time they want to do that, vacate the speaker.
Yet Johnson has the support of GOP Congressman Matt Gaetz, who led the charge to oust McCarthy.
I think in an election year right now, it probably doesn't portend it too well.
GOP critics agree.
Are you going to support that?
I'm very troubled by the leadership we've seen, where we haven't had conservative leadership. I don't think the timing's right for that.
But Republicans worry Greene's effort will hurt their chances in November.
We have to understand, this is not a junior high school reality television show.
Everything that we do in the House of Representatives should be in the best interest of getting Donald Trump reelected. This guy right here.
Look at his tie. Oh, my God. So anyway, the point that they're making is Greene doesn't have a lot of people on her side. It was her, Thomas Massie, and Paul Gosar, and that's it. Now, by the way, a quick point on the Democrats. They're so dumb to save Mike Johnson. They're so dumb because it's not like they're getting real concessions for that. They're not. To them, they look at it as like, hey, you gave us Ukraine funding and we all did Israel funding and Taiwan funding, and that's all we need. Like, what the... If you're going to save his ass, motherfucker, you need to have him be like, here, let's have a vote on $15 minimum wage or something, paid family leave, something. But they're not going to get that. They're going to save him and get nothing out of it. And by the way, here's a devastating fact. There was speculation, there's a rumor that if they try to oust or if they do oust Mike Johnson, that more moderate Republicans they're going to step aside. They're going to step down. And then Democrats will get the majority in the House. That moderate Republicans are so fed up that if they actually kick out Speaker Johnson, they're just done with politics. They're just stepping aside. And then that would hand over the majority to Democrats. So why the fuck would the Democrats try to save Johnson? I mean, you could say maybe the rumor's not true, Or, I mean, that's all I could think of. The Democrats think that rumor's not true, which is why they wouldn't do it. Or they're just so unstrategic that they've heard the rumors, but they don't care, right? I don't know. But to save him is absolutely crazy. But anyway, back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's feeling mighty fucking lonely. Because even Matt Gaetz, who was the original, like, crusader, yeah, they're not conservative enough. Well, guess what? Mike Johnson's acting just like McCarthy did. And now Gaetz is like, well, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's an election year. We don't want to make it look like we don't have any unity. People are going to vote against us if they see us doing this again. So Marjorie Taylor Greene goes on Steve Bannon's show and she says the following.
And you're right. You know, Fox News called me an idiot. That was literally their headline. They called me an idiot. But what I've done is expose what was already happening in the dark. And I think the beautiful thing about it is that Democrats have to come clean. They were controlling Mike Johnson anyways. He was giving them everything, wide open border policies, fully funded the Biden Department of Justice, fully funded the FBI.
Amazing. So she's saying, well, if Democrats save him, then that's an admission that he works for the Democrats. But again, as I just pointed out, Democrats aren't getting anything out of keeping Mike Johnson in there. They're getting nothing. It's almost like they're saving the Republicans from themselves, right? I wish the Democrats would all vote to oust his ass and then some Republicans step down and then the Democrats end up, taking control. But you heard her. Like, Fox News is calling me an idiot. Well, yeah, everybody's calling you an idiot. Because you're an idiot. Here's what she doesn't understand. Anybody who's speaker, they're going to do the same thing McCarthy did and the same thing Mike Johnson did. In all these instances, both McCarthy and Mike Johnson, they are following the money. They are beholden to the establishment. Both the corporate Democrats and the corporate Republicans are beholden to the establishment. Ukraine was always going to get that money. Israel was always going to get that money. Taiwan was always going to get that money. The idea that even if you replaced this speaker with Speaker Marjorie Taylor Greene, guess what? There would have eventually been a vote on Ukraine. There would have eventually been a vote on Israel. There would have eventually been a vote on Taiwan. There would have eventually been a vote on everything there was a vote on. Okay? Because the establishment agrees. The money agrees. And it doesn't matter who you picked. That's what was going to happen. So, look, in a sense, it's like, okay, well, she was against ousting McCarthy, by the way, which is interesting. And now she's for ousting Johnson. So it feels like it's all personality-driven and spite-driven, right? And it does with Gaetz, too. Because Gaetz, in a world where he was consistent, he would also be saying oust Mike Johnson because one of his big issues was the Ukraine funding under McCarthy, right? And Johnson does the Ukraine funding, and I was like, it's okay. So it looks like Gaetz is realizing, hey, that didn't work out well for us last time. My numbers went down. The Republican Party numbers went down. It makes us look unserious. Maybe that's why he changed his tune. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is the opposite and equal kind of hypocrite. I was against ousting McCarthy. I'm for ousting Johnson. Look, bottom line is, they don't know how to govern, and they don't know how to be unified. And what they don't understand is, you guys actually do all agree on virtually everything, right? You all agree on virtually everything, but the things that are going to end up getting passed and the things that are going to get the vote are the things that the entire establishment agrees on, and she's not going to be able to change that. She's not. She's fighting a losing battle in every imaginable way. Because let's say you follow through. Let's say you oust Mike Johnson. Well, then probably the Democrats end up taking over. But even if you succeed, let's say the Democrats don't take over and you oust them, well, then you're hurt politically for the upcoming election. And also whoever replaces Johnson is going to act exactly like fucking Johnson does, right? So they're calling you an idiot because you kind of are an idiot. And Matt Gaetz was an idiot before you the last time because McCarthy and Mike Johnson are the same fucking guy doing the same fucking things. And this thing is on autopilot. It just is. And look, I would have more respect for what they're doing if it truly was like a principled crusade based on policy, but I don't think it is. I really think it's more about personality and spite and clicks on social media and look at me, you know? I'd like to see Democrats fight the Democrats who are the problem. I'd like to see a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party from the left flank where they stand on, like, we're never funding Israel, that sort of shit, right? But they don't have that in them because they're little bitches. Whereas the Republican base here, or these Republican politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene and what's his face, Paul Gosar, they're certainly not bitches. Like, they got balls, but they're also totally fucking empty-headed and don't know what they're doing, right? So, it's a mess in 14 different ways, as you can tell. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all, man. Thank you for listening, as always. You know the drill. Everybody, please click like. Please click subscribe. That helps out big time in the algorithm. We have Jill Stein coming on Crystal Kyle and Friends this week. Really, really looking forward to that. That should be fun. And, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.